Welcome to the Daily Millwall for the Wednesday, the 20th of January 2021. And today was match day. We went away to Huddersfield Town and we managed to get a win. It wasn't the best of games. It was a scrappy game. It was awful weather. It was pissing down with rain. Wind was swirling as well. But we got the win, which was good to see. Good to get that win, but the performance was not too good, but you can understand that given the conditions. And here we go. We're going to have a look at this. This is from londonfootballscene.co.uk. This is their match report of today's game. It says an early Scott Malone goal gave Millwall a crucial 1-0 win over Huddersfield Town at John Smith Stadium. The decisive goal came as early as the 4th minute as Danny McNamara curled a low ball into the Huddersfield box that evaded everyone apart from Malone at the back post. It took the hosts 7 minutes to even enter Millwall's half, but when they did, they immediately earned a penalty as Lewis O'Brien was fouled in the box, with Frazier Campbell blasting a spot kick against the bar. Millwall regained composure and Ryan Leonard could have doubled their advantage, only to see his long-range effort go wide. At the other end, Janino Bakuna and Danny Ward went close, with the latter forcing a good save of Bart Biakowski in the Lions' goal. The second half saw Leonard have a goal disallowed for offside, while Naby Sarr was unable to turn Bakuna's effort goalwards as Huddersfield pressed for an equaliser. As torrential rain saw the pitch become heavier, affecting both sides' ability to play, Millwall held out for a hard-fought win. Now, they say there that the Leonard's goal was disallowed for offside. It wasn't disallowed for offside. It was disallowed because Jake Cooper was yanking on the goalkeeper's jersey, pulling him down. So, and lucky he didn't get booked for that, but you know, he tried it, didn't get away with it. I mean, there were a lot of people in there, but the linesman spotted it and flagged it up. So it wasn't offside, it was for Jake Cooper's foul. Yeah. They got here. The key moment they say was the missed penalty. Yep, I've got to agree with that. I think, like I said before in previous videos, if we don't keep a clean sheet, we're not going to win, because we're not scoring more than one goal. So we need to keep a clean sheet, otherwise the best we can do is a 1-1 draw. Yeah, so I think if that penalty would have went in, I don't think Huddersfield would have won. I don't think we would have won. I think it would have stayed scrappy, and I think they would have just settled for a 1-1. It says moan of the match. The heavy pitch took effect in the final 15 minutes with a lot of possession giving way due to passes falling short. Yep, agree with that. Talking point. Millwall targeted their attacks down both flanks to exploit the gaps created by Huddersfield playing a back three. It worked well, but would it have the same effect against a side playing 4-4-2? Good point there. Man of the match, Jed Wallace, they say. Combined well with Danny McNamara down the right and was a persistent menace with his positive runs. Tweet of the match, they got Mikey MFC9, a bewildering lineup and formation, but we've won 1-0 on the road. Credit to Rowett for taking a gamble, could have gone horribly wrong, but we would deserve winners getting Millwall. And that's the thing, when the lineup was announced, everyone was scratching their heads, going crazy, slagging off Rowett. Because he played Ryan Leonard as a centre defender, a centre half, if you will, on the right side of defence. And I'm going to show you why he said that. He goes into that in his post-match comments. But seeing that, it was so he's put Leonard in defence, and then he's put Thompson in midfield to replace Leonard, because Leonard is basically the only one in midfield who tackles, because Woods does nothing. So he did that, and that kind of worked. Referee watch They say no arguments with the penalty award. However, Ryan Leonard's disallowed Mill goal warranted a second look. Well, I've already told them they got that wrong. They thought it was offside. It wasn't offside. So that's why they probably don't think that deserves a second look. But the penalty, the penalty, I think, given the conditions up there, there were a lot of people slipping around after, as the match went on and on and on, more and more people were slipping around. So for the guy to give a penalty that early for someone slipping, or for someone slipping into someone, knocking them over, I think if he hadn't given that, and he would have felt okay about it later on, as everyone was slipping over. He thought, oh well, I did well not giving that penalty because everyone's slipping on their ass. So, and their verdict: a solid, confident performance by Millwall. We had a game plan that worked with a clean sheet away from home. Also a welcome bonus. Well, if we don't get a clean sheet, we're not going to win, because we're not scoring 2 goals unless we play a non-league team or a team that doesn't know how to play football. That's the start. That's the lineups there, and the substitutions. Like I said, Leonard was playing in defence. He didn't look too happy to be playing there, but he was okay when we were attacking. He was bringing the ball forward. He was the typical kind of player you see in the Premier League. The defenders who can play with the ball, who come forward with the ball, who know how to play a bit. He looked the part, but maybe that's, I don't know. We've been linked with a couple of centre midfielders, so maybe that's the plan. Maybe Leonard goes into the back 3, and we bring in another midfielders to take his place in midfield and try and replace what he's doing in midfield. I don't know. It's musical chairs, isn't it, moving people around? But let's move on. We're going to move on to the manager's reactions now. This is from Huddersfield Town. This is htafc.com, and this is their manager. What he says: Carlos Corberán reviews Town's defeats. Carlos Corberán analysed Huddersfield Town's defeat to Millwall. Huddersfield Town head coach Carlos Corberán was disappointed following the 1-0 loss to Millwall at John Smith Stadium. Scott Malone's first half strike was the difference as the Terriers came away empty-handed from the Sky Bet Championship encounter. Speaking post-match, Carlos reflected on the match. Of course, we're frustrated because we know how important it was to win the game, he said. After 2 defeats, we didn't want a third because it hasn't happened yet. We wanted to go for the game, play with a lot of personality, and attack and defend well. Some of these things we didn't do well. Malone's goal was the all-important moment in the game as the Lions left West Yorkshire with all 3 points. A strike that Town were always going to find it hard to come back from, said Carlos. When you concede a goal like that, it's going to be more complicated. The reaction saw us dominate the game like we wanted to, but we preferred to do it without conceding the goal we conceded. The closest the Terriers came to finding the target was through Frazier Campbell, who saw his penalty come back off the bar on a frustrating evening for Carlos' side. Town's head coach says the forward is disappointed not to have found the net target and insists Terriers will continue to work on those situations, having missed both penalties taken this season. We need to work on all situations now. It's a disappointing situation for us, especially with someone like Campbell, who's always making an amazing effort for the team. Now we need to be close to him because he's frustrated. We need to keep working to try and score in this situation because it has a lot of impact on the result. So he seems to be upset with himself, their own team. Just seems they couldn't done more and should have done more, but they didn't do it. So that's what he reckons. Let's move on to what Gary Rowett says. This is from news@den.co.uk, and this is Millwall manager gives insight into the gambles he took as Lions secure major league win. This is from John Kelly. He says Millwall manager Gary Rowett praised his side for getting it spot on after a couple of gambles as the Lions scored early to win 1-0 at Huddersfield Town on Wednesday night. Rowett produced a surprising team selection with regular midfielder Ryan Leonard on the right side of a back 3. Ben Thompson coming into the team in a 3-4-1-2 formation with Jed Wallace and John Daddy Bodfarson up front. Danny McNamara played his fourth consecutive game at right wing back, was involved in setting up Scott Malone's 4th-minute goal. Huddersfield missed the first half penalty when Frazier Campbell's goal. So yeah, we've seen all that. Let's get to the quote. Rowett made a quadruple substitution with 15 minutes left to boost the energy of the side to ensure they hung on for the points. He says, we look at our run of form, which has been very disappointing. Having done so well last season and the start of this season, we've really come off of it, Rowett admitted. Sometimes you go away from certain things to try and be a better team, but I felt today, and especially at a place like Huddersfield, where their home form is fantastic and they have really unusual intricate patterns of play, you have to get your defensive shape right, and I thought we got it spot on. I made a couple of gambles with the formation. I played Ryan Leonard at right-sided centre-half to have a bit more pace in those areas, and I brought Tomo in to just give us a bit more bite in midfield, and at one point I just felt we were lacking in options to see out the game. So he brought Ryan Leonard into the defence like I told you before, and that was because of pace. So that's a big slap on the Alex Pearce. Basically, Alex Pearce isn't quick enough, so that's why Ryan Leonard was put there. Presume it's like Aidan Muller was passed over, and they put Ryan Leonard there. And then he's put Tomo in midfield to be a bit more tackling, which he wasn't. He tried to play on the ball too much, and the ball got stuck under him a lot. Rather than just being the kind of terrier tackling people and getting the ball off them, he tried to be a ball player. And they said they put Wallace up front, but it felt like more of a front three, like Thompson was up there as well most of the time. They were all over the place, the front three. They were going wildcat, like they didn't have fixed formations, they were just moving to the left, to the right, switching, going up the middle. So I don't think that really works. So you could see as the game went on, we weren't doing that much, and that's why he made 4 substitutions at the same time in the 75th minute, which included bringing Romeo on. So Marlon Romeo come on, and almost instantly, I don't know if Romeo's got this reputation of being a bad defender, but as soon as Romeo come on, Huddersfield was sending everything down his side. They were just going wave after wave down that side. Maybe they were told to do that, or maybe that because they brought on a substitute as well. I don't know if he was the guy who come on that side, so he was fresh legs. So they thought, let's bring it to him because he's got fresh legs. But wave after wave going down that side in the last 20 minutes, a bit worrying. But we stuck on, and we got the win. Let's have a look on the table. They've got the table here on the News at Den website, so let's have a look at that. Not moving anywhere, so I'm still in 16th, 29 points. QPR won tonight as well away at Cardiff, so that's kept Cardiff where we are, just above us, 29. Huddersfield, we beat them, so they're just above. They're above Cardiff. They're on 14. That keeps them in sight, even though there is a gap there of 2 points now. It was more 2-point gap, so that's handy. We've got a escape route to get up the ladder. We've got a few rungs we can climb up, but then we've got Coventry and Birmingham just 3 points behind us. So although they were massively worse goal difference than us, which is handy, that might come in handy. Hopefully it won't. Hopefully we'll start picking up, going up the table now. But you never know. We've got a break now because we've got to play the FA Cup. We're playing the FA Cup on Saturday. Bristol City at home, 3 PM. That's on BT Sports 6 if you're interested in watching that. Let's move on. This is more Gary Rowett quotes from londonnewsonline.co.uk, which is the South London Press's online website. And this Gary Rowett says, our effort was monumental. Gary Rowett praises Millwall's desire as they earn impressive win at Huddersfield. I wouldn't say it was impressive, Richard Corley, but it was glad and welcome and joyous But impressive? No, I don't think it was impressive. I don't think anything can be impressive in that kind of rain, apart from maybe a slip and slide if the players run down the pitch and slid through the water. But that would be impressive. But the game wasn't impressive. I'll get into that tomorrow. I'm going to do a stats video tomorrow, so you'll see just how little action there was on goal. The story says Gary Rowett held the work rate and desire of his Millwall side in tonight's 1-0 victory at Huddersfield Town. Former Terriers defender Scott Malone fired the South Londoners ahead after just 4 minutes, and Town's best chance of a lever came shortly after that, with Frazier Campbell clicking the top of the bar from the penalty spot. Rowett said Huddersfield home form is fantastic and they have a really unpredictable patterns of play. They drag you out into areas you don't want to be in. You have to get your press so right and your defensive shape so right. We got it spot on. We did it really, really well. I made a couple of gambles with the formation. I played Ryan in the right centre half. He might only have played this there once in his career. He was excellent. I just needed a bit more pace in those areas. We brought Tomo in again to give us a little bit might be a field. At one point I felt like we were going to lack the option to see the game out and win it, but the determination of the players was fabulous. We scored a very, very good goal. It was well worked and brilliant finish by Scott Malone. I asked when he played here if he had scored here and he said no, so I'm glad he did today. At that point you say, are we going to get it right defensively? And on the transitions we had some really good moments and broke into some very, very good areas, but lacked that last little touch or pass. The one time we didn't get it right was for the penalty. We jumped out a little too early. Danny McNamara, they laid players around him. Now we're in trouble and now the space is open. Tomo just lets O'Brien run off him and gets to the wrong side. When you watch the penalty back, I think it's a little bit soft, but I can understand why the ref has given it. I've got no complaints. At that point you feel all your hard work has gone begging to get that little bit of good fortune with the pen, and then they had one shot on target all game. Our discipline was superb and our effort was monumental. We deserved to win the game. Yeah, I think there were about 12 shots all game, and the only save that got made was Bart Biakowski. That's literally one save between both keepers all game. So that's the story of today's match day. Huddersfield 0, Millwall 1. A good win. Not because of the way we played, but just it feels so good to win, man. Losing sucks. And drawing's just rubbish as well. Thanks for watching. Bye now.